In this edition of Emigrate Open Day. It promises to be extremely insightful. Thank you for joining us in this edition of Emigrate Open Day. We're going to be focused today on move in 2023, different tech-enabled visa opportunities that you can explore. Emigrate focuses on tech-enabled visa opportunities, and we focus on visa opportunities from all around the world. So we're speaking about the UK, the US, Canada, France, Australia, Germany, and several other countries from all over the world that have given different tech-enabled visa opportunities, made them available to different people from all over the world, asking them to come, bring their talent, bring their jobs, bring their employment, bring everything around them, their innovation, for them to come and build in their economy, to live in their economy. There are several of these opportunities available from all over the world. And today we will be talking about some of these visa opportunities. I would say that we've gone into a lot of details with some of these opportunities at different editions of Emigrate Open Day. We have video recordings of some of these editions of Emigrate Open Day. And this edition, we will be focused on looking at the wider picture, looking at what are some of these opportunities that exist and what are some of these opportunities that you should consider if you are looking at moving soon. Thank you for joining us. Just to make sure I'm not speaking to myself, can you pop in the chat if you can hear me, and also if you can see my screen? Please push that in the chat. Moving in 2023, tech-enabled visa opportunities or routes for you to explore. That's our focus for today. Emigrate focuses on tech-enabled visa pathway to relocation and settlement. And so we have a number of interventions: Emigrate Community, Emigrate Open Day, and even the Emigrate Coaching Services that helps if you are planning to move, particularly if you're in the field of technology. Whether you're a beginner in the field of technology, if you're even just starting in tech, or if you're an expert in tech, there is a route for you. And what Emigrate does is to help you, coach you, and hold you, show you the roadmap for these different tech-enabled visa opportunities. At this point in time, Emigrate focuses only on tech-enabled visas. And so, yes, there are other visa opportunities out there, but Emigrate currently focuses on just tech-enabled visas. And so thank you for joining us. You're welcome. Just to give a quick recap of what we'll be doing today, because we do have a lot to cover today. We will start by just sharing with you just a little bit about what Emigrate is and also what Emigrate is not. We will then drill down right after that into some of the tech-enabled visa routes that you should explore across the world. We will speak about the UK and some tech-enabled visa routes that you should explore in the UK if you're looking at moving to the UK. We'll speak about the US and some tech-enabled visa route to explore if you're thinking about moving to the US. Canada, same thing. France, Australia, Germany, and a few other countries of that nature as well, to say these are opportunities that exist today. Today, we will not have the time to drill down into fully that route today, because today is going to be more of a summary session of many of the open days that we've done this year and recently in Emigrate. What you should understand is that within Emigrate, we've actually done different open days, and we will do other open days focused and drilling down into these routes. And so today is an edition where if you're looking at, the big picture, what are the different options available, this is the edition, and that's what we'll be focused on today. If you wait till the end, we do have a gift for you. And so if you watch this video till the end, or you wait in this session till the end of the session, we do have a gift for you. And so we encourage you to wait till the end. We'll also be sharing a few more things around some of our packages, one of them being the move to the UK in 3 to 6 months. It's one of the Emigrate packages, and we will be speaking a bit more around that. We will also be talking about some major updates to the UK Tech Nation visa. That's the UK Global Talent visa for the field of digital technology. We will speak a little bit about that as well. Thank you for joining us. I would also mention that we've had a number of open days in the past, and the videos for some of these open days are available. The video for the open days are available, and so you can go online, you can go to our YouTube channel, or you can request for it from one of the coordinators of the Emigrate community to say, oh, I would like the video that focuses on this type of visa or that type of visa, and you would find that there's a lot of information available to you. We've covered the Australia Global Talent Visa, we've covered the US graduate route, and we've covered quite a number of different visa opportunity, the UK Startup Visa, the UK Innovator Visa, and several other opportunities like that. The videos are available. You can drill down and watch those videos. And so today we'll be focused on moving in 2023 and just laying out the ground to say these are some options that you may want to look at and you may want to explore. Moving on, next editions of Emigrate Open Day, watch out for Emigrate Open Days focused on the UK Startup Visa. Watch out for Emigrate Open Days focused on the Canada Startup Visa, French Tech Visa, and several other visa opportunities along that line. And so, as I mentioned at the beginning, I will start by just drilling down, first of all, into what Emigrate is, and then we will take it from there to start sharing around the different opportunities that you should explore if you are looking at moving at such a time as this. Emigrate helps you become globally attractive. What we focus on Emigrate is helping you be globally attractive. Now, yes, the visa is a side effect of this objective. And the reason why this is so is because many countries of the world have realized that there is a talent gap in their economy, in their jurisdiction. They need those talents, and they realize that they don't have enough within their country. And so what they've done in many forward-thinking countries of the world is to make different visas available so that talented people from other jurisdictions can be attracted to move to their economy. They are not doing you a favor. They are not doing you a favor as a professional. They need you to help their economy. And so if you can think of yourself as a talent from that perspective, then you understand that you have many options. You can choose to stay in your own country. You can choose to work remotely from your own country, but then you can choose to relocate with your family to different countries of the world, depending on what you are looking for at this point in time. What Emigrate does is to help you become globally attractive. And there are two ways we do that. And there are two types of visas that generally exist. There are visas that exist because of your own tech profile, right? And meaning that because you're a professional, because you are highly experienced, there are visas that are available for you. Also, there are visas available because you are part of a tech-enabled business, usually a startup. And so because you are a startup founder, or you're a senior executive in a startup, or you're a potential employee for startups, right? There are some visas available to you as well. And this is why we say in Emigrate that we help you become globally attractive, either with a tech-enabled profile or a tech-enabled business. Whichever way, there are different visa options that will be available to you because of your profile. And that's why Emigrate does exist, because talent is the new oil. And particularly if you are globally attractive, you will have options of different visas. And those are the tech-enabled visa opportunities. Drilling down into what our services cover, our services at Emigrate cover things like information sessions, general inquiry, coaching and handholding, assessment, preliminary assessment, particularly of whether or not you qualify for one visa type or the other, If you need a self-directed roadmap to say, oh, fine, I will do it myself, but I just need a roadmap. I just need clarity. I just need a clarity session to clarify what they're asking for and where I am in the journey. Emigrate can help with that. Also, if you're looking at, hand-holding and coaching along that roadmap to say, oh, fine, I know I already qualify. I need help with my application process, or I need help to even qualify within the shortest possible time. Emigrate can also help with that as well. So I'll use the example of the UK Global Talent Visa for the field of digital technology, which is the one called the Tech Nation Visa as well. Emigrate can help with just the visa endorsement application. You can start by talking to us. It's free to start by the discussion with us. And also, we can help with reviewing your application. In case you were rejected when you applied, we can help with an endorsement review process, which is almost like an appeal process. And there are several things that we can do to help within Emigrate. Emigrate operates a freemium model. What that means is that we do a lot of things for free, and then we charge a premium for some things as well. Some of the things we do for free include the information and inspirational sessions, such as this one you are attending at the moment. It's an information session, the Emigrate Open Day, and what this session will help with is giving you as much information as possible around what you need. What are they asking for? What are these opportunities? Is it real? And we also realize that some people think that, oh, these opportunities exist, but exist only for a select people, a number of people. Inspiration to help you understand that, oh, you actually can qualify, or in some cases you already qualify, you just may not know that you already qualify. And in some cases you are about to qualify, you just need to be able to package your profile to that extent. But those are some of the things Emigrate would do for you, and these are some of the things we do for free. Emigrate Open Day, we do have an Emigrate community as well that is becoming more vibrant and more vibrant day by day. And the Emigrate community is on multiple platforms, on WhatsApp, on Telegram, on LinkedIn, on Facebook. And what those communities help with is that you are in the same room with other people who are thinking around or are looking at some of these tech-enabled opportunities as well. You can share information, you can advise, and so on. There are introductory videos available. We have the open consultation sessions available. We have visa-specific office hours available. And then we have short inquiry sessions. Because of the limitation of time, we are only able to do one short inquiry session per individual. Our typical short inquiry session lasts for about 10 minutes or thereabout. What we advise is that, first of all, take advantage of everything that is available for free. Do your research. Don't come to that session asking what visa type is available. Come to that session focusing on the fact that, oh, I've already done my research. I've done a lot that I need to do, but I need clarity on a specific thing. We would like to contribute to your journey for free, right? And then you can ask those specific questions unique to you, personalized to you. Do not come to that session asking a generic question that has already been answered in an open day or that could have been answered publicly. We'll prefer to be able to use that session with you to drill down into something specific to you that will be helpful. It will be the best use of the coach's time and the best use of your time as well. On the premium side, Emigrate has a premium community called Emigrate Circle. It's a paid community. It's an annual subscription. And what Emigrate Circle does is it drills down much more into people that are already taking that journey. If you need help with a coach that is by your side, Emigrate Circle, you have access to that in a way. Fair usage applies anyway. We do have personalized coaching sessions as well. They are usually 30 minutes to 1 hour for you to drill down. We've got the standard package, we've got Emigrate Premium, and we've got custom services as well. If you're interested in any of these services, whether it's free or premium, what you need to do is to indicate interest on the URL on the screen. And also, if you're interested in one of the services, whether free or paid, you can just go to that URL as well, and you can request for that specific service. Emigrate has packages as well. So we've packaged some of our services together for specific purposes. So if you're interested in the UK, move to the UK as a global talent, this is focused on the UK Global Talent Visa for digital technology, which is the Technician visa. We've got the package move to the UK in 3 to 6 months. This is focused on the UK Starter visa and the UK Innovator visa. We've got move to the US as a global talent, and this is focused on the US O1 visa, which is the same visa that is focused on individuals with extraordinary ability. And there are several other packages, as you can see on the screen. It's up to you to say, oh, this is a package that I'm interested in, or you can say, oh, I'm not yet sure. And then you can also discuss that to say, let me do my research around these opportunities that they say is available at this point. We've got the Emigrate community, and on your screen is the link to the community. We encourage you to chat with us, comment, share, like, ask questions, and we will be there to help. A member of the community, one of the Emigrate coaches will be there to help. Emigrate is a service and product of Bincom Dev Center, and Bincom Dev Center has a number of other services that may be of interest, and I will spend a few minutes just sharing around some of these services. First one I will talk about is the Bincom Global Tech Program. If you are a beginner in the field of tech, this program is fantastic for you because it focuses on 3 key pillars: learn skills, gain experience, and gain exposure in the field of technology. But also, if you are intermediate skill level in the field of technology, particularly if you realize that you need the right combination of experience and exposure, this program is also fantastic for you because it will help you build your experience and exposure in the field of technology. For example, and we do have various variations of this particular program, and this is just an example of the Global Tech Program. Also, for the experts in the room, we've got the Bincom Mentoring Platform. With the mentoring platform, what it does for you is that you are able to show yourself as globally attractive by mentoring. It will surprise you to find out that some of the visa categories that we'll be speaking about and drilling down to today, they ask that if you are mentoring, then they would like to know more about you because it means that you are building ecosystems if you are mentoring, particularly on a structured platform. And that's important. If you're mentoring on a structured platform, the Bincom mentoring platform is such a structured platform, and you are invited to come on the platform to mentor other techies who are also trying to get on the journey that you have gone into as an expert in the field. It helps your profile and it helps to build you towards that globally attractive, helps you build your profile towards that globally attractive level that will qualify for some of these visa opportunities. I'll speak about Labs by Bincom. Labs by Bincom is a 3 to 6 months program that help you to build a startup from scratch with a team of 3 to 10 people. And so it serves as practical learning. It serves as industrial attachment. It serves as a good field in your portfolio if you need it. And it serves as a way to build your experience in terms of startup and your profile in terms of being a product-led digital technology founder. With the Labs by Bincom program, it will take you from the rudiments. It's almost like a nursery for startups, basically. That's what the Labs by Bincom program is. Final one I'll speak about is the tech career coaching service that we do have in Bincom. And this helps you to land your next role faster, particularly roles that come with certificates of sponsorship, particularly in the UK. We help you build the relevant experience in your target country. In the UK is where it's available for now, but we'll be expanding globally over a couple of months. It will help with connection with technical recruiters. We'll help with jobs that come with work visa sponsorship. And then we help you land those roles faster in terms of coaching and tech career coaching to help you get to where you want to be, analyzing where you are today, and then coaching you to get to where you want to be in the near future. For some of us, you may want to take a screenshot of this particular page, because this page talks about the different visa opportunities that are available. This is not an exhaustive list. This is not an exhaustive list of tech-enabled visa opportunity. Certainly is not an exhaustive list of visas. What is just helping to do is give you an idea of the landscape of some of the visa opportunities that you should already know about, and some of the visa opportunities that you should explore if you're an expert, if you're a professional in the field of tech, whether you're exploring it from the perspective of a tech-enabled profile or in the perspective of a tech-enabled business. The lowest common denominator across many of these visa opportunities is that if you are globally attractive, you have options. If you are globally attractive, you have options of multiple visa opportunities from all over the world. The more globally attractive that you are, the more the world wants you. And then you have options. You can pick your choose. You don't have to be running after one option only or do this other option only, depending on what your strategic intent is. That's the But what we focus on in Emigrate is we focus on visa opportunities that have a pathway to settlement in that target country. So you're moving from your home country to the target country and it has a pathway to settlement. We focus on opportunities that you will be able to move with your family. We focus on opportunities, as I mentioned already, which are tech-enabled in nature at this point. And we focus on opportunities that even if you're a beginner, you will be able to plan. For many of these opportunities, we've done in-depth open days talking about the opportunity, focusing on the opportunity, sharing a lot of information about the opportunity. And we encourage you to go watch some of those open days if you're interested in one opportunity or the other. And of course, it's not an exhaustive list. If you don't yet qualify for some of these opportunities, what we believe you should be doing is you should be planning and you should be taking action. You should be planning immediately to say, these are the things I want to do. And you should be taking action to say, okay, I've taken my first step, I've taken the next step, I've taken the next step after that, and you keep going that way up until the point when you qualify. You could qualify in maybe 1 month, in 3 months, in 6 months, in 1 to 2 years. 2 years is actually the maximum that we see in terms of qualifying for some of these visa opportunities. Some visa opportunities are not beginner friendly, whereas some visa opportunities are absolute beginner friendly. And that's one of the ones where we've got a package around the UK startup visa, for example. You can actually move to the UK within a 3 to 6 months within using the move to UK in 3 to 6 months package that Emigrate as an offering. Several opportunities, several options out there. It's up to you to be able to say, I'm a talent or I'm becoming a talent, and then I have options. So that's what Emigrate is focused on. And yes, we'll take a quick break. I will just ask in the chat to say, could you tell us what visa opportunity are you most interested in at this point in time? Could you drop that in the chat? It would help us in terms of us deciding what we focus on. We have a short time for this session. And so what visa opportunity would you like us the most to talk about during this session as we take a quick short break? Drop it in the chat. What visa opportunity are you most interested in us talking about during this edition? Okay, I'm seeing some messages in the chat, hopefully. And I will just, one of the things we mentioned that we will speak about today is some key information that you should know if you are interested in the UK Global Talent Visa for the field of digital technology, which is the Tech Nation visa. And that information is that there's a new change in the visa guideline that you should be aware of. And that change came into effect in November 2022. The change is this. Before now, it wasn't explicit, but this is something that we've always spoken about to people that we coach within the Emigrate community. And is that anyone that you are picking as your recommender, you need to make sure that you have worked with them or you've known them for at least 12 months. Your recommender needs to be able to say in their letter of recommendation how they've known you and known your work. So you can't just pick a random person. Yes, this person is very popular, very visible in the field of tech. You can't just pick a random person. They have to be people that you already know your work and have known your work for a while. The UK government, by way of the Global Talent Visa, depending on your recommenders to point at you as a global talent. So they need, and they've specified that now that these people must know the applicant's work for over a period of 12 months. So it's important that you pick the right recommenders, and it's also important that in them writing their letters, they need to explain, they need to show how they've known your work for that period of time. So please bear this in mind, bear this change in mind if you are planning for or you are planning to apply for the UK Global Talent Visa. I will also speak, well, yes. So we'll jump right into the cross of today's matter, which is moving in 2023, some tech-enabled visa routes to explore. In the chat, I see just a couple in terms of visas that you would like us to drill down into during this session. I see just a couple. If you want to drop in the chat, it would decide how much focus we give into one visa opportunity or the other, as you have the opportunity to be here live at this point. Thank you. Yeah, so we will start by focusing on the UK, right? And I've spoken a bit around the UK Global Talent Visa for the field of digital technology. Now, first thing you need to understand is that in terms of the Global Talent Visa, they're actually not, is not only for digital technology. There's actually Global Talent Visa for academia and research. There's Global Talent Visa for arts and culture. And then there's Global Talent Visa for the field of digital technology. Our focus is the one for the field of digital technology. And you are able to apply for this visa if you are a leading talent or you are an emerging talent in the field of digital technology. For you to be able to show that there are 5 criteria in total, one of that criteria is mandatory, and then there are 4 that are optional. You need to show that you qualify under the mandatory criteria, and then you need to show that you qualify under 2 of the remaining 4 categories. So you need to qualify under the mandatory category, but then you have to show you qualify under 2 of the remaining 4 category as well. If you've been in the field of IT for a couple of years, you just may qualify for this visa opportunity if you are if you've been working in tech-enabled or if you're working on product-led digital technology. Specifically, they say that they do not want consultants. So if you've been consulting, this visa may not be for you. There are a few ways around it, particularly if you've been consulting within product-led organizations and so on. But generally speaking, if you are in consulting, this visa opportunity may not be for you. In terms of the visa category, it's split into two as well. You could either qualify as exceptional promise, which are for younger people in the field of technology, or you can qualify under exceptional talent, which is for the people that are already leading talents in the field of technology. Before now, they weren't extremely explicit to say it is 5 years of experience or not. But what you should know is that if you have more than 5 years of experience in the field of tech, you will automatically be considered under the exceptional talent category. If you have less than 5 years experience in the field of tech, you can be considered as exceptional talent, but you will likely be considered as exceptional promise. You can Google this visa opportunity, and this visa opportunity talks about some things that you need to have. There's a Technician visa guide that you can take a look at. The visa guide is able to give you a lot of information. There's also an assessment on the Technician visa site that you can also take. That is like a preliminary assessment to say, do I already qualify for this particular visa opportunity? And so that's the UK Global Talent Visa. And we are able to drill down further into this visa opportunity during today's edition of Emigrate Open Day. We've picked a visa category per country, and we will talk about some other opportunities available in those countries, but then we will focus on one visa category. In the UK, aside from the Global Talent Visa, which we feel like is the gold standard in terms of visa options available today, there are a few other visa options that you can take a look at if you are a tech talent. You can take a look at the UK Startup Visa and the UK Innovator Visa. These are two different visa opportunities. The UK Startup Visa is for 2 years. It is non-renewable, but it's a middleware. Well, I said middleware. It's an intermediate step to say, oh, I want to move from my own country on this visa pathway, and then I'll be looking for a pathway to settlement in the future. There are different reasons why you may want to do that, and we'll speak around the move to UK in 3 to 6 months package that we have focused on the startup visa. The UK Innovator Visa is also available. It has some limitations. One of that limitation is the fact that you can only work for your startup if you move on the UK Innovator Visa. But depending on where you are, depending on your current status, depending on if you're a startup founder, for example, and your startup has some traction, you may want to consider this visa opportunity as your route to your pathway to settlement. There's also the UK Skilled Worker Visa and this UK Scale Up Visa. These two visa opportunities are different, but from your perspective as an applicant, you can think of them as the same thing. The reason why I say so is because you need to get a job with a company that it qualifies to sponsor under any of those two categories, and then you are able to get a visa opportunity to move to the country. So those are some other visa options that are available, but in terms of the option that we feel like is the one that you should target if you already qualify, it will be the UK Global Talent Visa. But then you can also take a look at these other opportunities that I've mentioned as well to see if you would, those would also be available to you. Moving on to the UK, moving on to the US. The US, we will speak briefly around the US O1 visa. The O1 visa is a visa specifically for individuals with extraordinary ability or achievements. If you already have some traction in the works that you do, you've gotten a couple of awards, you are visible in your field. There are actually 10 categories, and we'll go to the sites if we have time, where you will see some of those categories. Then this may be an opportunity that you want to consider. This one is not beginner friendly. So this is not for you are an absolute beginner and then you want to work your way towards this over a period of time. No. But if you're already an expert in the field of tech, this may be a visa opportunity that you want to take a look at to say, hey, will this help me towards my pathway to settlement? The O1 visa itself leads into a different visa, which is the EB1 visa, right? And you can Google all this. All of this information I'm sharing is in the public domain. We have coaches that coach on the O1 visa. We've done open days. As I mentioned, for many of these visa opportunities I'm talking about, we have done open days. We spend 1 hour, 30 minutes drilling down into nitty-gritties of these visa opportunities. We encourage you, if you're interested in any one of these visa opportunities, to watch those videos, to take a look at them, because it gives a lot of information, a lot more than we will be able to share in this session. As I mentioned at the beginning, this session is geared towards just almost like summarizing some of the open days that we've done in the recent past and some of the open days that we will be doing in the near future. Open days focused on different visa opportunities. And so with the O1 visa, it's for individuals with extraordinary abilities. There are about 10 criteria that is available, and then you need to show that you qualify under some of them, right? And you need to be visible in your field. You need to have appeared in newspaper a number of times. You need to have spoken in notable conferences. You need to be doing well in your career. But if you already are an expert in the field, this may actually be a visa opportunity for you. And we do have coaches on the Emigrate platform that can drill down more into these for you. Next, we'll go to Canada. And for the US, apologies, for the US, there's also the graduate route, for example, that we've spoken about for people in tech. There's a graduate route in moving to the US. There's the H1B1 visa, but that is actually very hard to get nowadays. But those are visa options that are available too. Canada. For Canada, we'll speak a bit about the Canada Startup Visa. With a Canada Startup Visa, you can actually get on the pathway to permanent residency as soon as you get the Canada Startup Visa. In fact, before you get the permanent residency, you can actually get a temporary visa before you get the permanent residency as well. The Canada Startup Visa requires you to have a startup, and your startup needs to be, so you get this visa because you're a startup founder, right? Or you are part of a startup. Your startup has to be endorsed by one of the business designated bodies, designated organization that the Canadian government have said they can, in fact, endorse you and endorse your business idea. Your company has to be supported by those endorsing bodies. Those endorsing bodies are split into those that have programs that you get into on merit, and getting into them on merit means that they probably have a program maybe once a year. You apply to the likes of Techstars, 500 startups, and several of those other programs are on their list. And then if you get into that, you are able to get sponsorship to apply for the Canada Startup Visa. A second alternative is there are actually some programs where you can pay to join their program. They will still assess your idea, make sure that you are pre-qualified, make sure that you are the nature, you are the talent that they are looking for. And because you make it into that program, you will be able to get the endorsement from what the Canadian government calls designated organizations that can basically sponsor people for the Canada Startup Visa. We've also spoken about the express entry on a different Emigrate Open Day, where we focused on the specific programs available from provinces like Alberta and so on, where they've seen a significant tech talent scarcity. And because there's a significant scarcity, they make opportunities available for you as a tech talent. Open days are available where you can go watch and you can learn a lot more around these opportunities. I'll move on to France. France has the French Tech Visa. Now, with the French Tech Visa, as the name implies, there are actually three key categories with the French Tech Visa. It's available for employees, it's available for founders, and it's available for investors. The French Tech Visa has different criteria for you to be able to get it, depending on which one of these three categories you fall under. If you're an employee, you need to be employed by one of the companies that is under the La French Tech ecosystem. If you're a founder, you need to get into that ecosystem, and getting into that ecosystem means getting into one of the incubators, accelerators that are able to, by way of speaking, endorse you for the French Tech Visa. And so you can take a look at that. The French Tech Visa is available as one of the options for moving. I would also just use this to mention that across Europe, right, there are several different startup visas that are available from all across Europe, right? From Spain to almost every European country has a startup visa. So whatever European country you're interested in, just put the name of that European country and put startup visa by the side, right? In a Google search, you will find a lot of information around that particular European country's program for getting startup founders to move to their jurisdiction. Almost every forward-thinking country of the world has a program to bring experienced, expert tech people into their jurisdiction. Almost every forward-thinking country in the world has one thing or the other, because everyone is fighting for the talent. The last one I will speak about before we then drill down into an opportunity and then we'll open for questions would be Germany. With the in Germany, there's the German work visa for IT specialists. For this one, you need to get a job in Germany, and that job is the one that will sponsor you. There's a similar one, which is a more prestigious one, which is the German Schengen Blue Card visa. And similar to the German work visa for IT specialists, if you get a job that is able to sponsor you, the main gate there is to find an employer that is able to sponsor your residence permits and your visa in Germany. We've done a bunch of open days, a couple of open days focused on this particular visa route as well. With the immediate last one focused on the German Blue Card visa. And we've also done one around the German work visa for IT specialists. The main thing you need to do is to find a job that will sponsor you in Germany. And finding a job that will sponsor you, there's a method to the madness, right? There are a few tips that the coach that spoke shared around what you should do. There were a few tips that were shared around some of the sites that you should visit, some of the places where you should look for roles and so on, right? You can also decide that, oh, you want to start with the job seeker visa, right? You get 6 months to move to Germany for you to go and look for work, all right? And that visa is also available as well. And these are some of the visa opportunities that we believe if you are planning to move in 2023, you should explore. These are visa opportunities that are available today. For some of these visa opportunities, they are available today. There is no guarantee that they will be available in the next couple of months. right? In fact, with the UK, for example, with the UK startup visa, it is getting harder and harder to land the UK startup visa because they are tightening the gates for the UK startup visa, for example. And so one of the things we advise is that if you're interested in some of these visa opportunity, it is available today. There's no guarantee it will be available in the future. And so start taking action as soon as possible. If you don't already qualify, then start building your profile towards qualification. If you already qualify and this is a decision you're planning to make, then you may want to start doing the things that you want to do very quickly to start getting the documentations that you need, the qualification criteria that you need, and all of that for you to be able to land these visa opportunities. Good. So we'll take a short break, and then the question this time around is, I've spoken around multiple visa opportunities. Which one would you like us to drill down into of these visa opportunities that we've spoken about today? We've spoken about the Global Talent Visa, the O1 visa, the Canada Startup Visa, the French Tech Visa, and the German Work Visa for IT specialists. Which one would you like us to drill down into? And also, if you have questions, now is a good time to ask questions as well. And so we would open up for questions now, and also drop in the chat the visa opportunities that you would like us to focus on a little bit more during this session today. All right, so if you have questions, you can use the hand raise feature on Zoom. We will only be able to spotlight you if you have your camera on. That's the only way we can spotlight you. Alternatively, you can also drop your question in the chat. We'll take a quick break while you do that. See you in a bit. All right, we're back. And so I see in the chat startup visa, and I would start by talking a bit more around the UK startup visa based on the request in the chat. The UK startup visa, so I will speak around the startup visa, and then I will speak a little bit around our package focused around the startup visa, which is moved to the UK in 3 to 6 months. The startup visa is available for you if you want to set up a business in the UK. You don't have to have started the business at all. If you want to set up a business in the UK, the startup visa is available for you, but that business has to qualify under 3 key things. Number 1, it has to be innovative, it has to be scalable, and it has to be viable. All right? It has to be innovative, scalable, and viable. Those are the 3 criteria that your startup needs to fall under. In terms of the startup visa, the startup does not need to have started business or anything like that. In fact, it is better that it is a totally new business. What you need, however, is a business plan that is endorsed by an endorsing body. That's the key gate for the UK startup visa. You need a business plan that is endorsed by an endorsing body. The endorsing body will review you as an individual, right? That says that, oh, I want to start this startup, right? But and also review your business idea under those key criteria that I've mentioned. Is it innovative? Is it scalable? Is it viable? Those are the three key criteria that they need to review your startup under. The visa is only for 2 years and it is not renewable. The UK startup visa is designed to feed into the UK innovator visa, which is a second visa category. To say, move to the UK, start building your startup using the startup visa. Within 2 years, they're expecting that your startup should have gotten to a stage where it has raised some investment, and then you can transit into the innovator visa. It's important to also understand that it does not have a pathway to settlement, and your time on the startup visa will not count towards your settlement. However, we do advise people, and this is me now speaking around the I'll come back to the endorsing bodies. This is me now speaking around our package for the startup visa. We advise people to say, if you've ever considered moving to the UK as a student under the student route, to say, oh, I'm going to do a master's that I don't need. Some people do a second or even third master's just because they want to move to the UK for that 1 year. And then they move to the UK for 1 year. And then after 1 year, you're able to qualify for the post-study visa route, making a total, which is 2 years, making a total of 3 years. If you've ever considered to say, this is a route I'm looking at taking, we say at Emigrate that, oh, you may want to consider the UK startup visa, particularly if you are or you have experience in the startup ecosystem. It's not compulsory to, but particularly if you have experience in the startup ecosystem, you may want to consider this visa. If you are in tech at all, you may want to consider this visa. But even if you are not in tech at all, even if you've not spent any time in the field of technology, within 1 to 3 months, you can actually build talents and experience and skill in the field of technology. And so that's why it's a 3 to 6 months kind of campaign, in terms of you can build experience in tech if you don't already have tech background, and then you can build experience in startup ecosystem if you don't already have a startup ecosystem background then you can apply for this particular visa by building an innovative idea that you build a business plan for. The gates, as I mentioned, and we'll look at the endorsing bodies, is that you need to get an endorsing body that can that would endorse your idea, and Emigrate can help with that. The other gate is that you need to come up with that innovative idea and come up with the business plan for that innovative idea. Emigrate can help with that as well. If you're interested in this package, you can drop a WhatsApp chat to any of the numbers on the screen, and then we'll be able to provide more information around this package for you. It's not the student route, it's not the global talent route, but this is a route to get into the UK, and then you can also decide moving forward to cross to other visa options after moving into the UK. I mentioned I was going to speak about around the endorsing bodies, and then I'm going to just go back and share that now. In terms of the endorsing bodies for the UK startup visa, there are multiple categories of the endorsing bodies, but I'll just split them into 3 categories of the endorsing bodies. There's the business category, and this is just a web page that you can also Google yourself. There's the business endorsing bodies, and then there are school endorsing body. Under business, there are 2 categories. There are those that do programs maybe once a year, twice a year. That's when they do a program, and then they get a bunch of application, they shortlist a few people, and then they are able to endorse those people for their startup and their idea. There's also school endorsing bodies to say if you went to some specific schools, they have an endorsing body, they have a program, a startup program within the school, and that startup program is able to endorse your idea and endorse you for the startup visa. We generally don't recommend, if you're already in the UK on the student route, for you to be considering the startup visa route because you're already in the UK. However, if you're in your own country looking to move first to the UK, because it's easier to move visa route if you're already in the UK. And so if you're in your own country looking to move to one route or the other, you can do that by using the startup visa as an option, and then you can move to the UK first and then look at switching visa route in the future. And so that's the UK startup visa in a nutshell. However, we have a lot of details that we've done in an Emigrate Open Day on the UK startup visa. And so you may want to take a look at that open day video that a coach has tried to drill down with some of our in-house coaches within Emigrate to drill down into what you need to do, giving a lot of information around the UK startup visa. All right, I'm going to the chat. Canada startup visa, okay. European startup visa. So for the European startup visas, there are several of them. So if you want to specify what country, it may be easier. But generally speaking, for most of the European startup visa, they follow the same format as what I've described. There are different nuances to it, but if you want to, what you want to do is that put the name of the country and startup visa by the side in Google. You will find a lot of information around that specific European country that you may be interested in. And once you do that and you need more information, Emigrate is a platform that has a lot of coaches. Many of our coaches that have gone through one of these visa route or the other. And so they are able to speak to you from first-hand experience, and they are able to advise you in your own unique circumstance. Emigrate does not offer immigration advice. Emigrate does not offer legal advice. What Emigrate does is that we have people who have the experience based on their own journey, and they are able to handle you, to coach you, to spend their time with you, to show you the way in the balance, and to help you get to where it is that you want to get to. Yeah, so Canada startup visa, we'll come back to that. German job seeker visa, is it easily accessible through their embassies? So what it is, that's the answer. If you get a job that will sponsor you, it's that job that will do most of the legwork. In some cases, the job would even pay for your visa application, whichever lawyer they want to use. You don't need a lawyer to apply, but some companies will do that. And even your flight and all of that, they will sponsor all of those things. Some of the coaches that have spoken on Emigrate platform actually share their experience, their journey of applying, how they applied, some of the techniques they used in terms of applying. They shared a lot of information around that. And we've also, because we do have a coaching service that helps with this, we're also able to help by sharing with you some tips, tricks, and so on that can help you land that next role faster in terms of the German job seeker visa. So legally speaking, one of the difference in some of our own countries and the European countries and the Western countries generally is that they do not want to be accused of racism. They do not want to be accused of nepotism or any of those things. And so they have rules. As long as you are able to fit into the rules, into the framework that they have put in place, they cannot legally reject you, right? And so the best that they can do is that they would generally, even if they don't want more people, what they would do is they will tighten the policy rather than saying that, so that way it won't be a case of, oh, you have been what's the word? Basically, they are very big on diversity, and they don't want to be be accused of being discriminatory. That's something that you need to think about and understand about many of these countries. What is the situation of the global talent visa now? I don't have any international proof of recommendation. Can still apply. I don't understand this question. Please, what is the situation? So you don't need an international for the UK Global Talent Visa. So I believe the question is, you don't have international, you haven't worked internationally, you've probably worked only in your local ecosystem. I believe that's the question. With the UK Global Talent Visa, you don't have to have worked internationally. The key thing they want to see is that because you have built your local ecosystem, it is more than likely that you will build the global ecosystem, the UK ecosystem. So that's what they are interested in seeing, to see how well have you done in your local ecosystem, how visible have you been, how much impact have you made, how much innovation do you have, how much academic contribution do you have, whatever category it is that you are looking at applying under. That's what they are looking at seeing in the UK Global Talent Visa. So not necessarily that you have done stuff internationally. If you have done stuff internationally, it improves your chances, no doubt. However, it is not a criteria for you to apply under the UK Global Talent Visa for the field of digital technology. All right, so if you have questions, as we mentioned earlier, please drop it in the chat. We will take the questions if you have questions. We'll take a quick break again, and then we will be looking at the Canada Startup Visa. We will drill down just a little bit into the Canada Startup Visa once we come back from this short break. And then if you have questions, please drop it in the chat so that we will take the questions as much as possible. If you would like to come on stage for the open consultation session, please bear in mind that this is being recorded, and so don't share anything that you don't want in public domain on YouTube and so on. You also need to switch on your video for us to be able to spotlight you. What you just need to do is raise your hand in the Zoom feature, and then we'll be able to spotlight you, and then you can do the open consultation session live on this session. Alternatively, if you have questions, you can drop it in the chat, and then we'll take that as soon as possible. So we'll take a short water break, and then we'll be right back. All right, we're back again. So the question in the chat was around, let's drill down into Canada and drill down into the Canada Startup Visa. I'll just mention that there are a few other visa categories in Canada to explore. Could you drop in the chat if you can hear me and if you can see my screen? Please drop in the chat just to make sure I'm not speaking to myself. Thank you. Drop in the chat if you can hear me and if you can see my screen. Canada Startup Visa is available, and we'll go into the browser to look at that. But bear in mind, there are a few other visa opportunities available in Canada as well. We've got the high potential tech visa that you need to look out for. There are some provincial nomination programs that you should look out for, particularly in Canada. A bunch of the territories in Canada has different nomination programs that they have available. For example, for British Columbia, their nomination program cuts across different tech skills that you may be looking at thinking about. But as the question came around Canada startup visa, let us drill down a little bit into the Canada startup visa. So with the Canada startup visa, the focus is for you to find a designated organization, as it's called, that will sponsor you with this Canada startup visa. Let's start with what do you need to qualify for the visa. Now, the visa is available to you if you have an innovative startup that can create jobs for Canadians and can compete on a global scale. Those are the key things that your startup needs to tick the boxes on. Now, the truth is that it's not like the UK startup visa where all you need is just business plan. With the Canada startup visa, it is best that your startup is already running and your startup is already showing some sort of traction, right? Because that is part of how they see innovation from the Canada startup visa program perspective. It has to be innovative. It has to be able to create jobs for Canadians. So the reason why they are making this visa available to you, and this leads to direct permanent residency, by the way, the reason why they are making it leads to permanent residency. Direct may not be the best qualifier for it, but really, if you have Canada startup visa, you are on the pathway to permanent residency. You don't have to worry about that at all. Finally, it needs to be able to compete on a global scale, meaning that it is scalable. If you notice, it's the same thing that the UK is looking for, the same thing that Canada is looking for, same thing that the other countries of the world are looking for. And then what do you need to do? You need to get one of these designated companies to sponsor you. There are three categories for them. There's the venture capital funds, meaning that if any one of these funds fund your company, even if it's $100,000 that they provide to your company, right, they can sponsor your visa. And so you may want to say, oh, fine, if you're already a startup founder, if you have a startup that is having some sort of traction and you're interested in moving your startup to Canada, right, you may want to start approaching some of these venture capital funds to say, oh, are you interested in what I do? There are also some angel investor groups that have already been accredited, and those angel investor groups are listed here. But the one that you may be most interested in are the business incubators, because on this list are business incubators that do merit-based programs, but there are some business incubators where you can pay them to get into their business incubator. And because you are in their business incubator, you can get endorsed, your startup can get endorsed for the Canada startup visa. So that's the main gate that you need to think about, but your startup needs to already have traction. So it can be a case where, oh, I just started something yesterday. We don't have any user. We don't have any proof. We don't have any proof that this is something innovative. We don't have any customer, and then I want to apply. It generally won't work out that way for you for the Canada startup visa. So what I was trying to talk about is that before you then get your permanent residency, you would actually get a temporary work permit. And that temporary work permit, because it takes a bit of time, about a year or so, for your permanent residency to come out, you will get the temporary work permit. And after you get the temporary work permit, you are able to move to Canada with the temporary work permit, and then you get permanent residency as well. And so in this case, your startup is basically your visa. And as I mentioned before, we've done open days focused on some of these visa opportunities. I spent just about 4 minutes or 5 minutes sharing on this opportunity. Those open day videos focused on it at an hour and a half or thereabout. All right. Yes. So hopefully we've gotten one or two things. If you have questions, as I said before, please drop the questions in the chat. We'll be able to take as many questions as possible from the chat for the rest of the time we have in this open day session. While we're dropping those questions in the chat, I will just touch on a few other things that we mentioned at the beginning, as well as we're bringing this session to a close. One of the things we mentioned at the beginning is that this is Emigrate, and what Emigrate focuses on are tech-enabled visa opportunities from all over the world. We help you become globally attractive. The visa is a side effect of that globally attractive profile. We covered some of the services that we offer. We explained that we offer a freemium model. So we do a lot of things for free, but then we do a bunch of things at a premium as well. If you're interested in any of our services, what you simply need to do is go to the URL on the screen, and then you can request for those services. Some of the packages that are available, if you already know the visa option that you're thinking about, then you can work with one or the other of these packages. We have the Emigrate community, and the communities on WhatsApp, Telegram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and you can join any of those community, like, share, comment, and so on the community. We've got the Bincom Global Tech program that is available for you as a beginner or intermediate in the field of technology, trying to move to the next level in the field of technology. And so if you realize you don't have the right skill or the right experience or the right exposure for some of these things that we are talking about, this program will be perfect for you. If you're expert in the field, we're looking for you as a mentor. If you would like to build a tech-enabled digital technology company with a team, you can join Labs by Bincom. It's a nursery for building startups, and you are able to learn a lot from that process and also have a company that is tech-enabled digital technology in your portfolio. We've got our tech career coaching service, which helps you land your next role faster. We are currently focused on the UK, but the same concept is available globally. We help you land the next role faster. We help you build the right relevant experience in that target country. We help with connection with technical recruiters, and we help with jobs that will come with work visa sponsorship, certificate of sponsorship in the UK. Spoke about a bunch of the visa opportunities that Emigrate currently focuses on at the moment. We also spoke about our move to the UK in 3 to 6 months. And I will just mention around our tech career coaching service as well, to say if you're interested, you can go to the URL on your screen, bincom.net/tech career coaching. It takes you through the different stages from when you're open to new employment to a stage where you can get the work itself and also work visa sponsorship from the job that you're looking at sponsoring you, particularly for the UK, but also available for the German skilled worker visa, right? And Emigrate helps with the tech career coaching, with our Auto Job Serve, which is a software that helps, and also with work experience as well. We did mention at the beginning of this to say that if you waited till the end, that we had something special for you, and this is it. Ideally, what we do is just one short inquiry session per individual. That's the best that we are able to do generally. However, because you were part of this open day till the end, you qualify for a second short inquiry session that is also free of charge to you. What that means is that you can spread it out depending on the way you need it, and you are able to get the attention of a coach for about 10 to 15 minutes, 10 minutes usually, right? And with the coach, you are able to ask specific questions related to your own specific challenges or your specific journey or career or visa routes. Please use this session not to ask generic questions like, what is this visa? What is the requirement? You can Google all of those things. But by the time you've gone through all of this information, you've gone through the open days and you've gone through information that we've shared in the open days, there may be questions that are unique to you. maybe your own unique circumstance, maybe your own unique journey, maybe your roadmap and things like that. Our coaches on the Emigrate platform are happy to help, always want to help, right? And so you're able to come to the short inquiry session because you waited till the end, you get to, and you're able to ask those questions. You're able to get that direction that may be helpful in your journey. I'm not seeing any more questions in the chat at this point. And yes, so that's the free bonus that we had mentioned earlier that we will be sharing with you for waiting till the end of this session. Was this session useful? We would like to get some feedback in the chat. We will coming to the end of the session at this point. Was it useful information? What did you find most useful in this particular session of Emigrate Open Day? Please drop that in the chat. We would like the feedback. Please drop that in the Emigrate community as well. We would like the feedback. Join the Emigrate community. It is super helpful. Some of the communities have some of our coaches on there, so you can actually also ask questions on WhatsApp, on Telegram. On the WhatsApp group is the most active at the moment, and so you can ask questions on that. And the coaches are able to answer the question to the best of their ability. Remember that Emigrate is not legal advice. Emigrate also does not provide immigration advice. What we provide is from our experience, and the coaches are people that have taken some of these journeys before and are able to handhold you to take that same journey as well across some of the opportunities that are existent. One of my final words today is these opportunities exist today. They may not exist forever. And so take action, take action, take action. Even if you don't qualify today, you can start building your experience towards qualification. If you already qualify, then you may want to start packaging yourself to ensure that your profile meets the qualification criteria. If you're somewhere in the middle, you're intermediate, so not yet qualified, and all, they've given you the things that you need for you to qualify. We've explained some of that for the different visa opportunities today. And what you should do is that take a moment to think about yourself and think about those criteria to say, okay, what are the gaps? And then what can I be doing between now and the future to fill the gaps as well? Emigrate is here to help. Emigrate is focused on tech-enabled visa opportunities. We've explained that for now, we don't focus on any other visa opportunity aside from the tech-enabled visa ones. It's a platform. We have different coaches and we're able to connect you to different coaches to help with whatever visa opportunity you're interested in, be it the UK Global Talent Visa, be it the US O1 visa, be it the Canada Startup Visa, whatever, or be it a case where you are still in the point of you're exploring what are my options. Emigrate is here for you, and Emigrate is able to help you get to that next level. With that being said, we thank you for being with us during today's edition of Emigrate Open Day, and we wish you the very best in your